It looks like it's trying now.
We're in.
Yay!
All right, we are live. Let me check the group real quick just to make sure we're live because we did have technical difficulties here for a hot second. Um, so crazy.
Is
Uh-oh.
it? It looks like it's on a really weird delay.
I
And
see
now
us
I
live
can't.
though, so that's
Okay.
good. I do see us live. So, hey friends, my name's Amy Welch. I'm a sapphire with Plexus, and I'm here with Sarah Taylor, who's a diamond, and we are really, really excited to talk about Reset today. We're going to go through our experience. We're going to talk about the box and give you your best tips for success for all of you guys that are starting a reset on Monday, or even if you're starting any other time, this group is going to be a great resource for you. So I want to share my story really quickly. I've been with Plexus for almost 9 years, which just sounds absurd to me. That's so long. I tell people the only two things I've ever been consistent in are my marriage and Plexus. So, after coming out of the pandemic, I had gained weight like a lot of people did, and I started to lose it trying to do things like intermittent fasting. And I started walking every single day, like rain, snow, or shine. I walked 3 miles every single morning. And I did that for almost a year. And I did intermittent fasting for a while, and I really loved it. And I dropped some weight. And then all of a sudden, I didn't. And not only did I plateau, I started gaining weight, and I could not figure out what was wrong. Turns out because I have thyroid issues, that's a big part of my Plexus story. You see my scar. I only have one thyroid, and I used to have Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. It's actually not good to do intermittent fasting when you have underlying hormonal issues like that. But that's not something people talk a lot about. So I didn't realize that what I thought was helpful was actually harming me. It jacked up my metabolism, it jacked up my hormones. So even though I was walking 3 miles every day, which was exercise I hadn't done for probably a year, I was moving my body, I was eating really good, healthy food, nothing was happening. So then Reset came out. And at first, I thought it was some 3 day kind of get skinny quick thing, and I wasn't too sure. But just like when Plexus comes out with anything, I trust them 100%. So I tried it, and I was blown away. In fact, I probably should show you my 3 day before and after. It's so drastic that it looks photoshopped. But all that to say that what was in this box was the catalyst my body needed to regulate my hormones, to reset my metabolism, and to finally shed all of this fat and inflammation and bloating. And it really was a game changer for me. I since have lost 20 pounds. I don't even know how many inches, because I do these monthly. And we do talk about the weight loss because that's the visual you can see, but so much has changed otherwise. Just my thinking around food, some bad habits that I had picked up that I didn't know were broken, a lot of my kind of mindset, and even just like clear thinking and brain fog, and just the energy I have when I do these monthly are fabulous. And so when you see my before and afters, I'll go find it and share it in the comments. I've maintained that now for over a year. My first reset was when it first came out, which was June of 2022. But when you see the 3 day, I want you to know that nothing changed in those 3 days except this box.
So I, my name is Sarah Taylor, by the way, for those of you guys that don't know. And I've been with Plexus for 10 years, in March, this coming March. So that's crazy to me as well. I've never held a job that long, but it's because I love it. And it's, I love these products. I love the vision of the company, and I love the people in this community. But I actually, when the reset came out, I was the same way as Amy. I think I actually messaged her and I was like, we're just going to lose some water weight. Like,
Yeah.
so, and we had both just come off of doing intermittent fasting, and I already knew that it did not work for my body. In fact, it did the opposite. It was awesome until it was not. And I loved it for I think a year and a half of doing intermittent fasting. And then I realized that it was actually the source of all of my hormonal issues that had been triggered from the fasting because I, like Amy, have thyroid issues. So it wasn't good for me. My doctor actually was the first one that clued me in on that and was like, the reason that you're experiencing what you're experiencing and the weight gain and the inflammation and the thyroid being off is from the fasting. And I was like, okay. So then when Reset comes out, I'm like, I can't do intermittent fasting. What, how is this going to work? This isn't going to. So this is so much different. It's a nutritionally supported fast, which I'll get to in here in a second. And it actually supports adrenals and thyroid, which is exactly what I need. I'm 40 years old. My fellow 40-plus-year-olds, you start to experience those hormone changes, regardless if you have hormone issues or not. That's just a natural part of life. So for me, this was, really, really good. However, when it first came out, I wasn't doing it consistently. I was doing it as a means to jumpstart if I had, gone off the rails as far as eating or movement, that kind of thing, lifestyle. I would do it in preparation for, say, a trip, a vacation, or post vacation, post holiday, that type of thing. That's how I was using it. And so it was great. And I was seeing results each time I did it, but my results weren't necessarily impacting my, my like long-term goals, so to speak. It was more of a short-term thing because that's the way I was using it. But I saw Amy losing all this weight and doing amazing. And we have very similar health history. So I was like, well, she's doing it once a month. I'm going to do it once a month. And I had a bit of a moment in June and after my birthday, and I was like, you know what? I'm leaning into this. I'm going to do this once a month. I'm going to commit to this change and we're going to do this. Since June, and adding in the resets once a month, I've lost 20 pounds, literally exactly 20 pounds. And to me, I'm 5'3". Like that is big. That's a big percentage of me. So really excited about the results that I've seen from that. But I'm more excited. It's not about just the weight loss. I'm more excited that my labs are perfect. I feel amazing. I feel energized. I don't have any cravings. The inflammation, I'll show you guys some pictures in the comments when we get off of here, but the inflammation in my body is a huge deal that it's gone. And so I want to get a little bit into, the reset and how this isn't just about weight loss, because I think that's really important for everybody to know, especially as you guys are embarking on your first reset. A lot of people will focus on the scale numbers or how you look and all that. And that is a huge part of overall health, right? Carrying around extra weight is a burden on your body and that has health consequences. And so we're here to help you guys remove the visceral fat. And that's the fat that accumulates around your organs and is the bad fat. And so one of the first things, and that's going to trickle effect like a domino system in your body from a health perspective. So one of the things that the reset does is that it helps to switch your body into a fat burning mode. So using your stored fat as fuel, as opposed to what you're consuming. So, carbs, all that kind of stuff. So during the actual physical 3 days of the reset, that's what a main function of what it's doing is switching over your body to a different source of fuel. And why that's important is then your body will burn that very, very hard. Usually the way your body works is that's the last reserve, right? Your stored fat is the last thing that it kind of relies on to get rid of, but that's the first thing that you want to get rid of in terms of overall health and impact on bottom line health goals, right? So over the course of that, it helps to optimize your metabolism. The way that you take the products, which Amy will explain in a little bit, helps to actually support your body's natural cortisol cycles. And why that's important, especially for somebody that has thyroid issues or adrenal issues like Amy and I, that actually works with your body instead of against it. So whereas the intermittent fasting in certain people, I'm not saying over the course of, everybody, can harm that because it actually taxes your adrenals and works against your body's natural cortisol cycles. This follows exactly along with that, and it's nutritionally supported, meaning you're getting 68 grams of protein. So your body isn't going into starvation mode, but it's only getting that protein. And so that's where that all comes in. Your thyroid and your adrenals need that to be able to function, but it's also not becoming a digestive incident or taxing your endocrine system. So it's not going through your liver, your kidneys, all of that. So it's not causing your body to need to detox or anything like that, and to process those foods that you're taking in. In fact, it's giving your digestive system a huge break. It's repairing and restoring your kidney function, your liver function, your thyroid function. It's reducing internal inflammation. And here's the big thing, you guys. I know many people are not familiar with Lynch syndrome. I happen to have Lynch syndrome. And what it is a genetic mutation that causes your body to not be able to actually repair damaged cells. And so it's a huge precursor for cancers and that type of thing. This reset is super exciting to me in particular, because it puts your body into a state of, and I always mess up this word, autophagy. And I don't know if I said it right still, but anyway, what it does is it triggers your body to allow the individual cells within your body to kind of take out the trash, so to speak, because they store these toxins. So it releases that trash because nothing else is coming in. It's not having to deal with all the other, triggers that it normally is, and the toxins that it normally is. It allows the body to release those toxins. Then it triggers the renewal and healing of your cells. And that's where you're seeing inflammation reverse from the cellular standpoint through these 3 days, but then after that as well. And that to me has been the coolest thing to see, especially as I've gone through, and some of you guys will be familiar with this, and Amy went through it too, explant removal. My body was constantly fighting my breast implants and causing all of this inflammation and constantly trying to detox from that. Once post-surgery, which was months before this, post-surgery, I decided to, when I did these habitual resets, that's when I actually started to detox from those toxic implants. So that was notable as well. So your body's able to do that. It helps to regulate your gut health. It gives your digestive system a break. I mentioned that. That allows the good microbes to overtake, the bad microbes to get out, and your body to just get to these really optimal levels. So with each reset, you're going to lose on average, 5 to 6 pounds of visceral fat. But what happens after the reset is where the magic happens, and where that compounding effect comes in. If you are still regulating your blood sugar, taking care of your gut health, moving your body, all of those things, and drinking your water, by the time that you get to your next reset, your body will be in a better starting place. And that's where the compound effect comes in. If you never ever do another reset again, that's fine. It was a one-time thing for you, but it's not going to have the compound effect for your whole life, right? So what it does is once you hit that next reset, you're in a better level, think of it as levels. You're at a better starting place. So you're going to be able to each time get yourself to a higher and higher and higher level and a healthier spot. So take it away, Amy. Oh,
yeah,
there we go.
It's funny too, because when I did my first reset, my eyes were kind of open. Like, we all talk about the weight loss results, but some of my favorite results from my reset were actually the things like I didn't realize I wasn't eating enough protein, or I was mindlessly snacking. And had you asked me before reset, I wouldn't have really thought of those things, but you just really become aware of that on the reset. So I'm going to show you guys what is in the box. We're going to go through all the products really quickly, go through a little bit of the science. And then Sarah, if you want to jump in here at all while I talk about these, feel free. So everything comes in this orange box, which I actually think here pretty soon is going to be changing, right, to match more of our brand and more of our sustainability. But when you open the box, you have this reset guide, which I recommend, guys, you guys look at this before Monday. If you're starting on Monday, especially if this is your first reset, Open this guide, get out your box, flip through it, and read over everything before you wake up and have to start your reset. One of the most important things that we're going to talk about to have success on this is to prep and be prepared. That means prepping the food itself, being ready, but also your mindset. Then what I love is that every day is in a box. It's so simple. When my husband and I do this, we leave it out on our counter, and then I pull out day one and I sit it on the counter. This is mine. It tells you on the back exactly what you're going to have and when. So what we're doing here with this reset, Sarah mentioned it, we're tricking our body by mimicking fasting. She mentioned the water weight. People, we're not losing water weight on this because that happens when you withhold protein. Then your body actually burns muscle versus fat, or that's what we call kind of that like water weight. We're actually burning fat. So if you do what Sarah said and you continue some of these healthy habits, that fat's not going to come back. Now, if you go out on day 4 and you hit the drive-through and you get a Big Mac and fries and you go right back to some of these bad habits, then your fat might come back. But that's what we're actually losing on the reset. So it's optimal daily nutrition. In every little box here, you're getting 500 calories, 68 grams of protein, and 17 grams of fiber. It was actually designed to give you the optimal nutrients you need while keeping your calories low and protein high to mimic that fasting, but also preserve your lean muscle tissue, control your appetite, cleanse your liver, improve your gut health, and then hit that cellular renewal that Sarah was talking about. I have done before reset. I used to do 3-day juice cleanses all the time. Anytime we'd come back from vacation, anytime I'd eat bad over the holidays, I had this really bad kind of diet culture, good versus bad mentality when it came to food. So if I ate bad, then I would have to eat good, and I would do juice cleanses. And they were awful. Like I would have headaches, I would be hungry, I would be tired, I'd be grumpy. And it was just torture to do them. On this reset, because you are getting calories and all that protein, I don't feel that way. I actually feel energized. I feel good. I may have a headache if I don't space what's in the box out to every 2 hours, but I feel really, really good on this reset. So if you're someone too who's done fast before or done juice cleanses and you're like, I feel awful on them, you're probably going to feel really, really good on the reset. So when you open the box, your 8 products are in there. I'm going to go ahead and take them all out. And then literally use this box as your guide. So the first thing in the box when you wake up, you're actually going to have hydrate. Now, what you want to make sure you do, this is the one thing you want to do first thing in the morning. And then the very last step is the one you have to do last. Everything else in the box, if you want to change the timing up a little bit, you can do that. But the very first thing you want to have is hydrate. This is our electrolyte drink and minerals. And let me tell you, this alone has been a game changer for me. I love my black coffee. I used to hit coffee as soon as my feet hit the floor. My husband would bring it to me. Coffee was my jam. I would have it, and I'm an early morning person. I would have it like 5 in the morning. On reset though, because I did it in the summer and I was walking, I wasn't wanting my coffee when I got back from my walk, and I didn't have time to have it before. So I'd get fat back from my walk and I'd have this hydrate. Okay. You want to do that first because when we wake up in the morning, we're dehydrated. Your body dehydrates while it sleeps. If you have coffee first thing, you're further dehydrating your body. And if you have that coffee or any caffeine within 2 hours of waking up, it affects those cortisol cycles that Sarah was talking about. So if, like me, I would have coffee in the morning, but then I would still need coffee in the afternoon, or my sleep wasn't so great. By doing this hydrate and continuing it post reset, so after my first reset, I have a hydrate every single morning. I get up, I walk, I hydrate. I now sleep better. I don't have the afternoon crash. And before I starting my day with this, I would be falling into bed around 9 o'clock. You can ask Sarah. Like if you text me at 9, Amy's asleep, right? I'm exhausted. Now, since I've replaced my coffee, or I haven't replaced it, I delayed it. So now I have coffee at like 10 in the morning, not 5 in the morning. I have to make myself go to bed at like 10. I have to lay down and read and like, okay, it's bedtime. I'm not crashing into bed. So you're going to start your day with hydrate. Then you're going to have your breakfast, which is this lean protein shake. It's whey protein. Now it is set to be mixed with something like milk or coconut milk. I like to mix mine with water. Sarah actually likes to mix hers with cold brew. So you just go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say I love cold brew with it. It tastes like a Starbucks Frappuccino, which is a treat. And so to be able to, have that on this fast is super cool. And just a little known fact that I found out, cold brew coffee versus hot coffee is a far less acidic and inflammatory. So if you're trying to choose between the two, even though it's cold outside, you might want to choose the
Yeah, it's really, really good. The only thing you want to make sure, guys, on your reset, you're not adding any calories that aren't in the box. So you do not want to, you say, mix this and then add heavy creamer or add fruit or add peanut butter or add anything that you might typically add in a protein shake. So the box is designed for you to add the calories from 8 ounces of non-fat milk. So outside of that, you don't want to add anything else to your drink. The thing I love about this lean is that it is so well ground. It's such a fine powder that you can shake it in a shaker cup and it doesn't clump. It's not gritty. It's not slimy. It's not chalky like a lot of protein powders are. Now, if you have a big bag of lean, like I also do, I actually keep this little packet and I put it in my travel drawer because these are great for travel. And then I just use 2 scoops out of my big bag. It's the exact same. So this is what you're going to have for breakfast. And listen, if you wake up, if you are awake for around 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, the way this box works out, you're having something every 2 hours. So the next thing you're going to have is your Hunger Control Slim. This is the pink drink. It's full of fiber and it really helps support your glucose metabolism or your blood sugar levels. I used to think blood sugars were only important for people who were diabetic or pre-diabetic, which they are, but they're also really important for all of us. And again, because I am a thyroid person, I know how important they are for my thyroid disease. In fact, when your blood sugars are not regulated, they spike and dip all day long based on the food you eat. And pre-Plexus, I can remember working in an office and at 3 o'clock, I was either going for my assistant's candy bowl of chocolate that she had on her desk, or I was hitting Starbucks. Well, every time I would do that, it's because my blood sugars were dipping. And what I didn't realize is that was affecting my thyroid production. So by taking this pink drink after you have your breakfast, it's going to help regulate your blood sugars throughout the day so you don't have those spike and dips. But the hunger control also helps you feel full with the fiber. So you're not going to be starving on this fast. Okay. Then the next thing is lunch. Now, for lunch, like I said, there are 2 soups. There is a tomato basil, which I could eat every day of the week. And then there is a savory bone broth, which is not my favorite, but I had it yesterday because they've improved it. And I thought it was actually pretty good. You can have either of these for lunch and save the other one for dinner, even though it says to have the bone broth for lunch. If you want to have the tomato, you can do it. Now, I will tell you what I found is the easiest way to mix these soups to where they never clump. They mix really well. I put the packet of dry powder in a bowl. I put the bowl under my Keurig and I do 8 ounces of hot water into the bowl. And then I use this frother to froth up my soup. There are other ways you can do it. People cook it on the stove. People put it in the microwave. But I have found for me that is the easiest way to mix it. You also can flavor these with seasonings. So on day 1, I want you to try them as they are straight out of the packet so you know what they taste like. If they're not exactly your favorite, then we are going to share in the group lots of different seasoning combinations that you can use. Seasonings that don't add any calories, right? Like Italian seasoning, garlic powder, things like that. The other thing you can do, which I do often, I open up both of these packets and I mix the powders together in a measuring cup. And then I mix them up so they're both together. And then I do half for lunch and half for dinner. So that's something else you can do with these soups. And I'll be honest, they are really, really filling. And and really good. I like these suits really well. Then in the afternoon, for me, this is usually around 3 or 4 o'clock when I do this next step. It's our afternoon snack, and it's two steps. You get active, which is our healthy, clean energy drink, and then you get this smart snack, which is a protein bar. I love this for several reasons. One being that you actually get to chew. So many times we've all done fasts or cleanses and you don't get to chew anything. And that's a big deal. That can cause a lot of havoc and make it really, really hard. So I love that you get to chew. So this snack bar is a protein bar. It's whey protein. It also has a lot of that fiber in it, and it is a vanilla matcha bar. People ask me what the consistency is like, and I will tell you, it it kind of looks like an RX bar, but those to me are really, really chewy and hurt kind of my jaw after a while. This is softer than that, and it's got fun little whey protein crisps in it. So it's got a really, really good texture. I really like this bar. So you're going to have that in the afternoon. When you have your active, again, you just mix this with water. My favorite is starfruit guava. That's what's in the box. The thing I love about active is that it's healthy, good for you energy. If anybody you know or yourself included is doing things off the shelf like Monsters, Red Bulls, Bing Bang Booms, 5 Hour Energies, whatever those are, I used to do those all the time. I was a busy full-time corporate mom. Even now, like we all have too much to do and not enough time to do it. So I lived on energy drinks. I didn't know back then that those things were jeopardizing my health, one, but also wrecking my thyroid. And so once I found that out, I kind of had to swear off energy drinks because they were so harmful to my thyroid until Active came out. So it's clean energy. It's a natural source of caffeine. You are not going to get the spike that you get with artificial energy drinks, but you're also not going to get the crash. It's just going to be nice, sustained energy throughout the afternoon. And then it also has an S7 blend that is full of things like turmeric and tart cherry and kale and blueberries and broccoli. And then the other thing that Active does that's really awesome, it encourages your body to produce more of its own nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is really important for things like our pulmonary processes. So like your blood pressure, muscle recovery, people who work out. So this is really, really great and will get you through kind of that afternoon kind of slump if you have it. I don't have the slump every afternoon, but I just love Active so much and like the focus and the energy I get. So I have one every day anyway. Then for dinner, you're going to have whatever soup you didn't have for lunch. You're going to mix that up. And then last but not least, the very, very last step is this Restore. And this is actually probably the powerhouse of the box. This is a product that is incredible, but you can only get it in the Reset. And I'm assuming it's because it only is most effective when your body is in that fasted state. So it's not something we want to sell just on, as a regular product. It has to work as part of the Reset. So Restore does a lot of stuff. It helps you with your stress response. It helps to detox your liver. It helps support natural cellular processes where like toxins are released in the blood, filtered out through our liver and our kidneys. It also helps that oxidative stress. It reduces free radicals. It also has a little bit of appetite control, a little bit of helps your digestive system kind of calm down, take a break a little bit. It's really, really kind of the powerhouse of the box. And you want to have this, I tell people it's kind of like a bedtime tea. So you can have it with room temperature water, cold water, or hot water. I actually prefer it warm. I just had one last night because I did a 3-day reset myself. So I like to brew it again with my Keurig. I put it in a coffee cup. I do hot water from my Keurig. It says on here 12 to 16 ounces. So every stick will tell you the optimum amount of water. I've been doing 8 ounces for this for all of my resets. I've reset every month for a year. And last night was the first night I realized I should have been using 12 to 16 ounces of water. But I put it in, I put the hot water for my Keurig, and then again, I use this, and then I sip it like a nice warm bedtime tea. And that's it. Once you do that, you're finished with day 1, and then you repeat for day 2, and then you repeat for day 3, and you're finished. So I am really excited for you guys, especially if this is your first reset. I just love this so much. I love how simple it is. I love how easy it is. Now, one thing, if you work out of you don't work at home, you do want to do some prep. So things that are going to be your best friend during your reset: a frother, if you have one, a shaker bottle, and insulated mugs. So you can take all of your sticks. You can have these on the go in the car, in your office with a shaker bottle. These are great. All you need is water and a shaker. Same with your protein shake. Your soups, though, you just need to have access to warm water. And if you don't, so like last night for dinner, or anytime I'm gone for dinner when I'm on a reset, I just make it ahead of time and I put it in a to-go coffee mug and it keeps it warm for hours. And I mix it up at home and then I just take it with me. So you just want to make sure you are prepared, because you don't want to fail. Because on the reset, if you find yourself at work and you forgot something or you don't have a way to mix it, if you're not doing something in the box every 2 hours, you probably are going to get hungry. What you want to make sure and do is do the next step before that hunger hits. Because when you get hungry on this is when you might want to cheat. And so as long as you're prepared, I will tell you, on my first reset, I had trouble getting all the steps in. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to eat something else. So the more you can prepare, the better success you're going to have on those 3 days. Go ahead,
And I was
Sarah.
going to add to that as well. Sorry, my dogs were barking like crazy if you saw me doing so. Stop. Um, a lot of times we perceive hunger. Sorry. I think there's like some sort of Amazon guy in our driveway or
I can't
something.
hear this.
Okay, good. But a lot of times our brain tells us that we're hungry when we're actually thirsty. And so one of the biggest keys with the reset is drinking lots of water in addition to your products throughout the day. So just having an extra cup by you of water is going to help you so much, because the more hydrated you are through this, the better results you're going to have as well. And another thing is too, I love it because Amy mentioned that it's super easy to travel. And I don't work outside of the home. I work in the home, but I intentionally schedule lots of things during my reset, because the busier that I keep myself, the less my mind is on the fact that I am resetting. And so I just found that that works really, really well for me to get through the 3 days. And Amy, there was a lot of noise in here. I don't know if you mentioned preparing like grocery shopping and meals for your
I did
family.
not. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Mention that.
So
Let's give
one of
our
the
best
things,
tips.
yeah, if you were in charge of cooking meals for your family, you're going to want to think through just how that's going to work, whether you want to do leftovers or just easy crock pot meals, or something like that, meal prepping prior to your reset. What I do, I love to cook and it keeps me busy, so I actually still cook for my family every single night of the reset, and then I sit down, we have family dinner, and I have my soup with them. So we do that. Other people, that's too hard and they don't want to do it. They send their family out for go out to eat without me kind of situation, that kind of thing. So it's just something to think through of your own individual preferences of what you want to do and plan ahead for those time frames
Yes.
during this.
And if it's your first reset, I do recommend you do that, because you don't know how you're going to react. I did the same thing. I sent Steve and Adelaide out to dinner, and then I meal prepped for the other days before the reset. Now, though, I can do reset even if they're having like a great buffet in front of me and it doesn't bother me. The other thing you want to do if it's your first time is make sure you don't have any social events and social commitments. That can be really, really hard even now, but it can certainly be hard on your first reset. So find 3 days that you're going to be, at home, at work, you don't have anything you have to do out, you don't have to cook every single night. So find 3 days that work for you. I'll also tell you, I prefer to do a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is what we're doing next week, or a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't like fasting on a Friday. Every once in a while, I've done it on the weekends. I have a couple clients who prefer to do it on a weekend because that's when them and their spouse can do it together. But for your first reset, I recommend you do the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and follow us along. But if that timing doesn't work for you next week, just keep that in mind that Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays tend to be harder for people when it's their first reset. Now, the other tips that I have, be prepared, um, plan ahead, but also I want you to get your mindset right. Because if you go into this thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so hungry, I don't know if I can do this, guess what? You're going to be so hungry and you're probably not going to be able to do it. It's all about your mindset too. So be excited for the reset. It's only 72 hours. Like we can do anything for 72 hours, but take it one day at a time, right? If you do it the first day and you're like, oh, okay, I'm not so sure. Well, we can adjust on day 2. But really get your mindset. Tell your family if you need to. Let them know, like on my first reset, I told my kiddo, like, listen, mommy can't stop for donuts or I can stop, but I can't have them with you. We're just going to hit the drive-through and you can have them on the way to school, or we're not going out to dinner, right? Like just prep them ahead of time, have that mindset so you have those supports around you. And I bet you guys are going to love it. I don't have anybody, knock on wood, who hasn't loved the reset. I think you're going to be more blown away by how good you feel on the 3 days.
Yes, you get addicted to that 4th day feeling. I always say, like, you feel great, you feel empowered, and you feel like you just accomplished something really big. And it gave me my power back over food too. I broke some chains that I didn't realize I have, and it's been fabulous. So I'm excited for you guys to get started on this. We'll also include some tips in the group. As we go along, if you guys end up having headaches or bowel issues or anything like that that could possibly happen when you're detoxing, everybody's starting place is different. So we don't know if anybody's going to have detox issues or caffeine withdrawals or, whatever that is. But we'll help you through it. So.
Yay, we're excited. So stay tuned too for all the things, and we will be kicking this off on Monday, guys.
All right. Bye. See you guys
Bye.
Monday.